Hey, how you all doing? Well, I'm back in the workshop and I'm fixing to put together the rotating assembly. I did just want to point out though that I'm learning as I go here. So I've got my book and I've got my friends who have built engines before, they give me advice. And I've watched this video a few times. So I've got 4 videos. It's ZHP Garage, so Ziegler, that's a father and son outfit. And yeah, they've put together 4 videos for assembling the same era, so with the split seal small block Chevy, and it's easy to follow. And yeah, so I'm pretty much working on that. I learned to put an engine together on YouTube, so hopefully it's not going to go completely wrong, but you know what, at some point in the near future we're going to see flames coming off the engine stand. But yeah, shout out to these guys, thanks a lot. So that's all the main bearing bolts torqued down to 88 Newton meters, which is around about 65 foot-pound of torque. Obviously careful not to move the crank, and take these pieces off and see what the plastic gauge looks like. Yep, same story here. Guess I'm going to have to go to the next gauge and see where we're at. So I used the next range down of the plastic gauge, and I'm working with like 3 thou. So my research tells me that the diameter of the crank journal, in this case 2.5 inches, would call for 2.5 thou, 1 thou per inch. So we're at 3, given that we've got a little bit of wear on the original crank. I'm going to be happy with that. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty happy about that. Bumpity bumpity bump. Bumpity bumpity bump. Yeah, that feels good. Well, back at it and ready to go on another day. Oh, you gotta love the old bumpity bumpty bump. Go ahead and put the pistons in, I guess.
Cause all that's left here now is starlight. It's our lives in hindsight. And as I lay here in the street, I see what I need. I need escape from this debris. Carefree.
Well, that's the first one in. Get ready to do the second one. Went pretty well. I'll come back to you when I got all those in. So that's all the pistons in. All torqued up. On to the next step. Pretty happy with how that's gone. Yep, all the little indicators are pointing the correct way. Excellent. And the next thing is installing the camshaft. So I've just been working on my cover here. I hadn't noticed that some of the holes were a little bit elongated, so I've just given them a go with the hammer. This part was in here, like that. When I painted this, and that was in video, I'd convinced myself that somehow I didn't look at this properly. This little seal is squashing there. And I was talking to my buddy about it. You know who you are. I was like, yeah, it squashes in there. And you're like, no, it doesn't. You have to hammer it in. So yeah, I've just taken that out and got this one to install. Anyway, plan is put that on there real nice. I've gone around the inside of that with the emery cloth. Just want to tappy tap it in place. Just try and get it in without it going cattywampus. Looking good. So, cleaned the oil pump and installed it. Installed the freeze plugs. Installed the sump oil pan, depending on what side of the pond you're from. Looking quite good. Managed to snatch a little bit of time to get these things painted. Harmonic balancer is done. It's a bit bright, I don't know if you can see it on camera. And then the pulley for the fan. Just gonna monitor that for a little while. You've got to get your shaft nicely lubed up. You don't want a dry shaft. You want a fully penetrate when you're screwing, otherwise it's not going to engage properly, like that. You can never have too much lube. So although the cam followers were neatly bagged up and labelled. The oil rubbed all the ink off, so I couldn't tell which one came from where. But they're not dished or whatever. I've been looking online on the various, hey, what do you guys think of my followers, etc. on Facebook and that. And I think these are all right. I mean, overall, in general, this engine hasn't shown much wear at all. Certainly nothing too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and install them. Give them a quick wash down with some brake clean and put them in. Just had a little look up on the internet about if you get your followers mixed up, what should you do? General consensus, go and buy new ones. Well, I'd give it some consideration. For every person I've found who says you must change them if you mix them up, get new ones, there's 2 or 3 people who have said, oh yeah, they'll be fine to run it. You know, the shade tree rebuilds and all that, they've run fine. So the fact is I can't just get some for tomorrow, and I'm going to run it how they are. I'm going to use my best judgment, and I might be wrong, but then I might be wrong about a whole bunch of stuff, how I've done this engine. I might have wasted a lot of money and a lot of time. But I guess that's what this is all about. But feel free to offer your opinions. Feel free to tell me I'm a dick for doing it like that. And I've got really thick skin, I don't care. Alright, so I'm not an experienced engine builder, and these things I just expected them to have an embossed top on them, but they don't have that. So I've just been looking online. It's like this bit of the stainless steel part has to go towards the cylinder head. That's what I'm going to go with. A little bit. Okay, darling.
I'm trying to take pipe.
Come here. Put it in that hole there. No, that way. That's right. Now put this one in.
And his friend got into the car.
Put this one in. Last one. Excellent, you did it. Clap, clap. Right, look. I'm going to show you what you have to do with this, okay? Look. See that? That goes on there like that, okay? You put it on there. It goes on there like that.
Can I do it?
You did just do it, darling. Okay, look, let me. That's right. Now you have to put this part in there. Other way up.
Does it go like that?
Yeah, let me get it. Like that. Then we put this one that way up, okay? turn it on there.
That way.
Yeah, let Papa get that bit, that's a bit tricky, okay?
I'm really get good at this one.
How is it?
No, Papa.
So I've got all the push rods installed. I've got the, what do you call them, rockers installed. I've taken the lash out of them all. Pretty happy with how that's looking. The next stage would be to install the valve covers. So I had shot blasted them and I used the end of a can of paint. In fact, I used the end of 2 cans of paint. And as you can see, it's kind of variegated because maybe the can wasn't shook up enough or some such reason. This is all supposed to be the same colour. And this piece, which I painted a long time ago, that's even lighter. So I've been using aerosols, but I have got a can of this colour paint and it doesn't seem to have that issue. So rather than mix up some paint and clean out the gun just for these covers, I want to get a bunch of other stuff done, so the dipstick isn't all that great. Got all the little clamp things, got these bolts, these are for the distributor clamp and the intake. I've shot blasted the heads of those. I'm gonna paint those, and then if I've got enough paint, I'll keep going. I'm gonna get the springs and hinges and all these other little goodies painted up. Little dome light here. So I shall just take my time and go ahead and do that. Look, made myself a little hook. I got quite a lot painted in that round. Loads of little itty bitty bits. Kind of just ran out of paint as I was doing that last one there. That last hinge, but I believe that's the inside. I hope the outside looks good. Yeah, I got the paint on the good side. Vents, they've got some drips on them. Doesn't matter, no one's going to see it. I even got the little dome light bit done. Yeah, feeling pretty good about it, to be honest. Oh, there's a bit of a drip on that. Never mind. It took forever to get the condition right on the gun. As you can tell by my piece of cardboard. I was testing it all out and forgot to put the fans on. Just turned that red one off just so that I can do a bit of narration on this video. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. I got the heads painted with the black stuff. Touched up some other stuff around here. It's looking good. Pretty happy with that. This is the original distributor, AC Delco. It's a really nice one. It had a built-in, where is it? Well, it's about here somewhere. There's a built-in coil for this one too, which I was surprised about, given how old it is. Built into the cap, underneath that thing there, the black bit. So it's probably a nice distributor, but I'm taking it apart to make it into a priming thing. What do you call it? Priming rod. I'm going to take that, I'm going to drift that pin out, grind those threads off. They're not threads, they're gear teeth. Grind those off, and then hopefully I can find something up the top here which I can attach a drill chuck to, and probably just leave all this business up here. Unless I can neatly, I don't know, clamp it in place and run it, that'll be fine. Well, looks like I've made myself a manual primer. How about that? Well, on that note, everything covered up. The worst of the smell is gassed off these, so I think I can shut up now. My little pieces. So things I've got left to do. I'm not going to go any further with this engine on the stand. I've got to install the flex plate. Can't do that with this on, so there's no way it's going to start like that. I've got to install the starter motor, make sure that meshes with the flex plate. Need to clean down my transmission. Need to give that a bit of a clean down. It's getting a new filter, that's it. I'm not doing anything else to the transmission. And then I'm going to install it in the front. Well, yeah, because that's where it goes, in the front. But before that, I'm going to install the screens, because you can literally put a board down on the front of the chassis rails, stand there, and I feel like it's going to be an awful lot easier to install those windscreens next. But before I want to install the windscreens, I'm going to install the wipers, because reaching through and whatnot. So it might seem like a slightly odd order to go in. You know, I've got all this way with the engine, and I know you're all dying to see flames come out of the heads with no manifolds or anything like that, but it's all been about preparation and whatnot. So I'll let this paint on here go off a load. Yeah, so I'm gonna wind this video up there. Install these windscreens, which I'm actually looking forward to that. Clean the dash down, stuff like that. Yeah, so I think I'll install the intake, and then maybe either bolt off the intake where the carb goes on, or off the ends, like these bolt holes here, or here and wherever. Find somewhere to bolt onto the engine. But I'm going to probably put the engine on the transmission and then install it. I think that'll probably be easier. And then I'll bolt everything back to it. So I don't want it to be too long before I run it, on account of the... don't want all of the oil to come out of it. Damn, I'm rambling on like a 2-bob watch. I think I am going to call it a day. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Later.